Sit next to me. I don't smell it.
February 11th, 2025. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As is customary in this chambers, we stand for a moment of silence for those defending our freedoms at home and abroad and for our first responders. Our prayer, Mr. Biscotti.
Dear Lord, bless thy servants in the ministry of public affairs who serve you in this chamber. Give us quiet minds and hearts that we may hear your voice. Help us to know when to speak, when to be silent. Give us strength to oppose the wrong and uphold the right. Grant that we have a good conscience and soul at peace with thee and with one another. Amen.
Thank you.
Roll call. Councilman Asatuli.
Present.
Councilwoman DeCaro.
Here.
Councilman De Palma.
Here.
Councilman Desai. Councilman Garcia.
Here.
Councilman Murphy.
Here.
Councilman Pasquini.
Here.
Council Vice President Dr. Greenberg Belli.
Here.
Let the record reflect that Council President Sohar will be absent for tonight's meeting.
Our first business is a proclamation for the Day of Hope proclamation. Anna?
Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for braving the snowstorm that's coming our way. We're going to make this very quick. A few weeks ago, the mayor's office received a letter from a student from Old High School, Brady O'Leary, and he had reached out to Mayor Walker regarding a special day that the high school hosts on February 13 called a Day of Hope. It's a national day of action designed by Hope Squad to raise awareness of mental issues, share the hope, and save lives. The local organization at the high school recognizes this day by hosting a variety of activities throughout the week, from what I understand. Some of the activities that they have is announcements, different a pin on a clothing pin activity, which I thought was neat, different morning announcements, a hope wall near the cafeteria, wear yellow to school, and a different other special announcements as well. Mayor Walker was very sad to miss today's meeting and asked me to read this proclamation on their behalf, and we're excited to have their teacher advisor here with us today as well, so I would like for you all to come up, please. Whereas Hope Squad is a peer-to-peer suicide prevention program with a purpose of fostering human connection, community, and hope. And whereas Old High School is celebrating a Day of Hope, which is a national day of action designed by Hope Squad to raise awareness of mental issues, share the hope, and save lives. And whereas thousands of schools across the U.S. and Canada benefit from Hope Squads with more than 1.25 million students positively impacted annually. And whereas suicide prevention and mental health have already been in the national spotlight, with suicide being the second leading cause of death among American youth ages 10 to 17, according to the CDC. And whereas one way to combat these alarming statistics is by harnessing the positive power of peer-to-peer connection. And whereas Hope Squad believes in equipping our young people with the tools and resources to combat mental health challenges among their peers, and we want to share this hope with our communities. And whereas, now therefore, Eleanor Walker, Mayor of the Township of Old Bridge, the Township of Old Bridge, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, do hereby proclaim February 13, 2025 as a day of hope and encourage all residents to join us in increasing our knowledge, raising awareness, and providing support to those in need.
Congratulations.
Now I would ask either Brady or his peer or the teacher to please say a little bit more, elaborate a little bit more on the program for us.
Hi, my name's Dominic. I'm a part of Peer and the Hope Squad, and I'm a senior at Old Bridge High School. And our goal is to be a familiar face and the stigmatism for suicide, and to just be there when someone needs someone to talk to, and to help guide people towards a leader, such as like a teacher, an advisor, or someone like a guidance counselor. That's pretty much it.
I'm Brady. I'm a junior at Old Bridge High School, and I'm really proud to be part of this program because it's a program where we can help students create a safe environment to share whatever they're dealing with and struggling with. So, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Next will be appointments, reappointing the municipal clerk, Catherine Hutchinson. Please have a motion and a second.
Motion?
Move it, second, whatever.
By, who made the motion? I did. Councilman Pasquini, second by Councilman Murphy. Roll call, Councilman Asatuli?
Yes.
Councilwoman DeCaro?
Yes.
Councilman DePalma?
Yes.
Councilman Desai? Councilman Garcia?
Yes.
Councilman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilman Pasquini?
Yes.
Council Vice President Dr. Greenberg Delli?
Yes, absolutely.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, next is public hearing. H1, Performance Guarantee Release Woodhaven, Section 2, Phase 2, Blocks 22000 and 22001, Lots 37.11, N2, 4.11, 31, 32, 35, and 37 to 45. Application 14 to 13P, and our Township engineer and the applicant, please come to the front table. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, Brian Blocker from the firm of Hutchinson Blocker here. Sorry. Do I have to push? Okay. Hi, good evening, everybody. Brian Blocker from the firm of Hutchinson and Blocker here on behalf of the applicant, Barclay Brook Village LLC.
Thank you, Council. We're here tonight because the applicant, Atlantic Realty, under an application called Woodhaven Village, Section 2, Phase 2, commonly known as Barclay Brook, is asking for release of their performance guarantee. I think everybody on the dais is familiar with the Woodhaven development. Woodhaven Village consists of several residential developments consisting of single-family lots, townhomes, condominiums. We're here tonight for a 94-unit townhome community along McCormick Avenue North and South, Horan Court and Gonzalez Drive. Our inspectors, a Limo Group, went out and did inspect the site. Everything has been built in accordance with the approved plans. I asked the Limo Group that they didn't have to be present tonight, as they have reported back to me that everything was in good order. And just to save on the escrow billing for our applicant, there was a performance guarantee, an original that was posted for the application in the amount of $1,172,421.32. There was a previous reduction by resolution number 410-16 on November 21st, 2016. So the reduced performance guarantee for the project is in the amount of $683,761.62. In the form of bond is $615,385.46. 10% cash portion in the amount of $68,376.16. And in accordance with the MLUL, we are asking for 15% of the original performance guarantee for a maintenance bond in the amount of $190,403.55. It should be noted to council that McCormick Avenue North and South, Horan Court, and Gonzalez Drive are to be dedicated to the township after a 2-year maintenance period has elapsed, after a final inspection by the engineering department, and after the applicant petitions to the council for us to accept the roadways by way of ordinance, then they become ours.
And that's acceptable to the applicant.
I also want to make note that should the council look favorable, we ask that the applicant pay any outstanding escrow fees. Of course, the posting of the maintenance bond in the amount as indicated prior, and then posting of escrow fee in the amount of $9,770.18, which represents 5% of the maintenance bond, and that just gives Alimo Group or a consultant an opportunity to then bill and go out there and make sure that everything is still in good order.
I'd like to open it up to the public. If anyone has any questions from the public, please come forward. Seeing no one coming forward, I'll close the public portion.
Madam Vice President, before we continue, that second component's acceptable to the applicant as well?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anyone on my left have any questions? Anyone on the right?
Can I have a motion to approve the performance bond release?
Second.
A motion by Councilman Murphy, second by Councilman Pasquini. Roll call, Councilman Asatuli?
Yes.
Councilwoman DeCaro?
Yes.
Councilman DePalma?
Yes.
Councilman Desai? Councilman Garcia?
Yes.
Councilman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilman Pasquini?
Yes.
Council Vice President Dr. Greenberg Belli?
Yes.
8 yeses.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Appreciate it, and the explanations.
When they're all done, they'll be, yeah.
Now we'll have the bill list.
Yes, thank you. Bill list as of February 11, 2025. Accounts payable, February 11, 2025, $2,495,530.68. Payroll, January 31st, 2025, $1,185,322.44. Payroll overtime, January 31st, 2025, $57,663.73. And that completes my report. Thank you.
I'd like to ask our business administrator, Anna Feltz, if she could give us a breakdown of the overtime.
Sure, thank you. Our overtime uptick was mostly due to the snow removal that we had during that pay period. The swarm police overtime for that pay period was $17,485.27. The duck grants, $5,653.70, for a total of $11,831.57, which was 231 and a half hours, men and women hours. We have 3 officers on light duty and two on injured on duty currently. Sorry about that.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second.
Move it.
Moved by Councilman DePalma, second by Councilman Asatuli. Roll call, Councilman Asatuli?
Yes.
Councilwoman DeCaro?
Yes.
Councilman DePalma?
Yes.
Councilman Desai? Councilman Garcia?
Yes.
Councilman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilman Pasquini?
Yes.
Council Vice President Dr. Greenberg Belli?
Yes.
8 yeses.
Okay, now we'll move on to public hearing, H1, ordinance. Thank you. We'll go on to public hearing, H1, ordinance amending Chapter 5, Article 13 of the Code of the Township of Old Bridge entitled Department of Police, amending 5-97, testing procedures for entry-level, officers, applications and qualifications. Okay, anyone to our left, they have a question? Anyone to the right have a question? Open to the public for this matter only. Close,
Like to be heard?
close the public portion. Seeing no hands, I would like to have a motion and a second for the adoption of this ordinance.
Move it.
Moved by Councilman DePalma, second by Councilman Asatuli. Roll call, Councilman Asatuli?
Yes.
Councilwoman DeCaro?
Yes.
Councilman DePalma?
Yes.
Councilman Desai?
Yes.
Councilman Garcia?
Yes.
Councilman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilman Pasquini?
Yes.
Council Vice President Dr. Greenberg Belli?
Yes.
8 yeses, motion carries.
H2, ordinance of the Township of Old Bridge, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 5, Article 3 of the Code of the Township of Old Bridge entitled Council by amending 5-25 ordinances and resolutions. Does anyone to the left have a question?
Yes. Okay. I would like to know, okay, so this has to do with amending how council introduces ordinances, or, Mr. Rosselli, if you can help me out, especially with Section 2, C.
Okay?
How is this, how does a council person introduce ordinances? Does this talk about this?
Yes.
Okay, can you explain to me, because I'm missing it?
Sure. So if you go to B, the ordinances, if it's by council, there would require a council member approved by a majority of council present. Let's say, and because there's 9 of you, it's a little more difficult if you simply say a council wants an ordinance drafted, and then, because you could potentially have 9 ordinances at the same time. So to try to control that process, I thought it'd be, the process would be is a council member has an idea and says, we need an ordinance regulating the number of cats in town. And so then that council member at that meeting would ask for motion to have that ordinance drafted. So then there'd be a vote by council, and then once that's adopted, you can proceed. So it would get drafted, and then the next meeting it would be in for introduction and then adoption. What has to happen now is the fact that, let's say a council member wants to have something adopted. What it would then do is require the initial discussion before it. There have to be a discussion first, right? A discussion item listed, and then there would necessarily have to be, I think the way it was done, that let me see, council. I just noticed by heart. Yeah, right. Right. So it could be, it's immediately for first reading, the way it's done now. Previously, you can have a discussion, and then you would have to come and then draft it, and then you would have to have a vote to move it for introduction. So that's a 2-step process. The way it is now, once it's approved by council to be drafted, it's immediately going to be moved for introduction, rather than draft it, then list it for discussion, and then move it for introduction, right? So we're eliminating that second step, right? So what would happen now is, again, topic, whatever it is, we need an ordinance amending it, council approves of it, the next meeting, it's on the agenda for introduction, right?
So it sort of just eliminates the
an extra step,
discussion.
right, you're exactly right.
Discussion part.
Right, because before, as that the council president so hard indicated, there was 4 meetings a month. So it was almost, allow them more time if there's a discussion, the next meeting, they can have it and then move it. But now with 2 meetings a month, so whenever it's brought up at the next meeting, it'll be immediately introduced. So you're missing that intermediate step, so it quickens the process that way.
Okay, because I guess I'm just confused, because I remember last year I wanted to introduce an ordinance regarding Pride Month, and I couldn't seem to get that even for discussion. And I remember emailing you like a whole proclamation thing, and I never got any response. So I'm trying to figure out, if something else comes up again that I want to introduce,
So again,
how do I go about doing it?
Actually, I did respond to that email, if you go back and check. So again, the process then would be is a council member before could bring it up for discussion, and then there has to be a vote to authorize the legal department to draft it. That vote never occurred.
Right, because why?
because no one brought the motion up for the vote.
Because I did, and I was told that that was not the right procedure.
No, that's not, I didn't say that, because that is a procedure. And then once it's drafted, even if council agrees to draft it, then there's a second vote to authorize introduction.
Okay.
So that second process is eliminated by this ordinance. So to the extent that someone has, one of the council members wants an ordinance drafted, the motion is taken, and then at the next meeting, it's immediately listed for introduction once there's a majority of members present who vote yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
In the wording that was changed, I might be mistaken, but it seemed to me that you were changing from a council member sponsoring an ordinance to the mayor.
No, so it got a little cumbersome, and I don't know where that language came from, right? The request for the ordinance can come from the mayor, but by definition, it gets listed, right, for a council meeting. So it's council who ultimately approves it. The language about sponsorship, it became complicated for the clerk, the way that the system works with relative to doing the agenda. Inherently, to the extent that an ordinance is on the agenda, it's because it came about and it's on council's agenda. Council's role in that instance is they move it and they introduce it, right? So it's a matter of, when you look at that language, naturally it has to be, if it's being listed by council, or it's listed on the agenda, it's council's ordinance and council adopts it. It's to help to clarify the confusion for the clerk's office relative to, quote unquote, who sponsors it. Well, ultimately, an ordinance that's listed for introduction is being listed for council's consideration. It's not the mayor, and it's a matter of.
It does say that.
It had, right, it says by request of the mayor, which was before it was at the request of the mayor. That didn't change. It's just the language talking about, once it's requested by the mayor, it's through the council president. If it's requested by the mayor, it's going to be through council, because it's going to be on council's agenda. It's not like the mayor can sign it, draft and sign an ordinance herself. I think it's a matter of, because there's always been confusion in dealing with talking to Kate and listing it on their peak system as to who the quote-unquote sponsor is, and dealing with council president. They just made it simpler and took that confusion out, recognizing that an ordinance, in order for it to be adopted, it is council is the one to adopt it, it's not the mayor.
Yeah, reading that ordinance the way it is now, it seems to me that you took out a council sponsoring and you left the mayor in.
No.
So what I'm afraid of is in the future, interpreting that, someone could interpret that as meaning that only a mayor can bring forth an ordinance.
No, except as otherwise provided by law, all ordinances and resolutions shall be drafted by the Department of Law, either upon motion of a majority of the council president or at the request of the mayor. That language at the request of the mayor was there before.
Yeah, there's another
Right. Then
couple words that you struck.
Right, where it says it's understood that the ordinance requested by the mayor shall be through the council president, as all ordinances must be sponsored by a council person. The reason why that's out is because it only gets on the agenda. Council has to adopt the ordinance, right? So it's inherent that it's being placed on the agenda through the council president, because the council president is the one who sets the agenda.
So
That's
it's the
my
council
point.
president, not the majority of the governing body.
Right, that's never been the situation. When the agenda, and Kate will tell you, when she sits with administration, with the council president, and sometimes the vice president, they set the agenda. So the council president at that time is part of that process, and those matters that are listed are necessarily with the council president, and the council president controls what's on the agenda. So it's only the drafting part isn't changed, and that language, but that next sentence was actually confusing, because it's inherent that if it's listed on the agenda, it's through the council and the council president. All right. Yep. I just wanted, again, it got cumbersome for the clerk's office because if you look at on the agenda, well, who the sponsor is. Well, for ordinances, she has, next to it says clerk. But again, the agenda's set and the ordinance is introduced, but necessarily it's the council president who controls the agenda and what's set. So by that affirmation, it's being sponsored by the council president, and then council votes on it.
Okay, thank you.
That's why I always say when council comes to me with something for the agenda, I always say it has to go through council president, because that's who I take direction from, or the vice president in the council president's absence. So if you want an ordinance on, I'm going to tell you, speak to the council president, and then she'll direct me whether or not the ordinance goes on.
Understood. Thank you. I'll move it.
Open to the public. Anyone have any comments on this? Seeing no hands, I'll close the public.
I'll take them.
Motion by Councilman Asatuli, second by Councilman Pasquini. Roll call, Councilman Asatuli?
Yes.
Councilwoman DeCaro?
Yes.
Councilman De Palma?
Yes.
Councilman Desai? Councilman Garcia?
Yes.
Councilman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilman Pasquini?
Yes.
Council Vice President Dr. Greenberg Belli?
Yes.
8 yeses, motion carries.
Ordinance amending Chapter 10, Vehicles and Traffic, Section 10-14 and 10-16 of Township Code regarding stop and yield inspections. I would like, any questions to the left? Any questions to the right?
I'd just like to make a comment. This is for the intersection of Marlborough Road and Southwood. Been working on this for about 6 years, and it's finally come to pass. Really appreciate the engineering department, their help with the county and the state.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Open it to the public. Anyone have any comments on this? Seeing no hands, I'll close the public portion and take a motion for first and second.
Second?
Motion by Councilman Asatuli, second by Councilman Pasquini. Roll call, Councilman Asatuli?
Yes.
Councilwoman DeCaro?
Yes.
Councilman De Palma?
Yes.
Councilman Desai?
Yes.
Councilman Garcia?
Yes.
Councilman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilman Pasquini?
Yes.
Council Vice President Dr. Greenberg Belli?
Yes.
8 yeses, motion carries.
Okay, H4, ordinance amending the code of the Township of Old Bridge, specifically Article 8, Daycare Program, Section 160-31, fees for full-day summer camp. Any questions on the left? Any questions on the left? Any questions on the right? Like, seeing no one, no comments, I'd like to open it up to the public. Public have any comments? Please come forward. Seeing no hands, I'd like to close the public portion and ask for a motion and a second.
Move it?
Motion by Councilman Pasquini, second by Councilman Asatuli. Roll call, Councilman Asatuli.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeCaro.
Yes.
Councilman De Palma.
Yes.
Councilman Desai.
Yes.
Councilman Garcia.
Yes.
Councilman Murphy.
Yes.
Councilman Pasquini.
Yes.
Council Vice President Dr. Greenberg Belli.
Yes.
8 yeses, motion carries.
Okay. And now we will move to ordinance H5, ordinance establishing the flag display policy for the Township of Old Bridge, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey. Anyone on my left have a question?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Carroll? Mr.
So it's in, all right, so it's in the ordinance, whereas relative to where flags are displayed by the Township of Old Bridge, whether it's obviously the most notably out here in front of the municipal building. I'm not sure if there's other locations, but typically there's 3 flagpoles, and it's following state and federal guidelines, which states that there's three flags, the primary flags being the United States flag, the secondary flag being the state flag, the third flag being the POW MIA flag, state flag being the highest state, and I mean federal, United States flag being primary and highest state flag, and then the POD MIA flag. So what we're doing is implementing that policy. The question became relative to using the flagpoles for other reasons, so So I know the mayor had pushed and asked that this proceed relative for that policy, and so that's what we're formalizing that policy.
Mr. Carroll? Yes. So, so this is simply pertaining to what goes on the flagpole, correct? It's not other flags that are not specifically on those 3 specific flagpoles, correct?
It has to do with the, where the township has flag monuments, or I'll call them flagpole monuments, right?
Right.
I'm familiar with this one. I don't know if there's any of the municipal sports complexes, if they exist, so it would apply to those as well.
Okay, because I'm assuming, and I don't know, but I'm assuming that this came to be because of last year I brought up the whole, flag raising for the Pride Month and things like that. And it says, okay, the flagpoles are not intended to serve as a forum for free expression, and I understand that those are specific for what they're for. They're for the American flag, the United States flag, the state flag, and the the MIA POW flag. Now, my question is, so what if, say, someone wants to have a smaller flag, and I know Councilman Desai with his Indian heritage, they had been doing flag raising. Last year they used a smaller flagpole. Are those smaller flagpoles that are separate from the main flagpoles, does this have anything to do with that?
No, again, it relates to the township municipal flag poles. That's what those are.
Just what I was checking. Okay, thank you. Councilman
What
Desai?
is the reason just to restrict any other sovereign country's flag? Because last 30 plus year. Oh, sorry. Last 30 plus year, South Asian Indian community has celebrated India's Independence Day, Saturday after August 15, year after year. People shows up and celebrate their joy of independence of India. All of a sudden this year, I had personally applied with the mayor's office as well as with the recreation department, because after the celebration we have a light refreshment, so we needed a place, and that place we used the civic center. Everything was approved, and then before few weeks left, I got the call from mayor's office that they will be not allowed to raise the flag, India's flag. So we were talking, I was talking to Council President Ms. Sohar and Mayor back and forth, and finally they said, both agreed that you can buy a temporary pole and you can raise your flag there. I still cannot understand. We were still able to raise the flag at the township property, very next to the 3 standing pole. So why we are just prohibiting sovereign country? There is no political agenda here. This is simply a celebration of sovereign country, and India being the largest democracy on the face of the earth. When you are denying 20 plus thousand people who lives in Middlesex County from India descent, and in our town, I don't have the exact number, but it's close to 10,000. So I think this service. I believe this should add one exception that any sovereign country, I'm not talking only India, any sovereign country should be allowed to raise the flag. And people of that country should be able to celebrate their culture and diversity. So this is my request to all my fellow colleagues sitting on the dais, please and I am introducing, and I think council can tell me, can I do that addition in this particular ordinance? Or do I have to wait for future?
So, I'll try it. So that's the whole reason, is that governmental entities cannot act arbitrary, right? So to the extent that the township decided, well, we're gonna, number one, what's a sovereign nation, what's not a sovereign nation, and then they start flying flags for sovereign nation, then then the township gets in the whole issue of, well, if you're gonna fly with a sovereign nation, why not a non-sovereign nation, and why not this group? That's the whole issue. It's a definition of arbitrariness. And again, we had discussed that. The purpose is to avoid that arbitrariness, to utilize the flagpoles for the purpose. The reason why, again, public property, people have the ability to utilize free speech, right, within, obviously, there's safeguards, but if it's public property and someone wants to bring on their nation's flag on that, they're permitted, right, under First Amendment. There's some limitations, but that's why you can do it. But for the utilization of governmental property, in this instance, Old Bridge property, it's important to be consistent. So again, the goal and the intent of this ordinance is for that consistency, so that no other groups can come back and say, well, you're treating this group differently than me, so therefore I'm being discriminated against, and then the township gets sued. So that's to avoid all of that.
I personally still think that what happened last year is really bad, because we already announced to our community, and it is a fixed date, and you cancel at the last minute. I think that was disgrace. But again, if majority do not like to respect sovereign country, I think that's up to them. The people should know that majority of Old Bridge Council is not ready to respect at least sovereign county, just to raise their flag one day. I'm not talking a week. We generally celebrate Saturday, so Friday night, due to the preparation in the morning, we put the flag on, and with the help of Recreation Department. And next day, in the evening, Recreation Department themselves take it off and keep it with them, that flag, for our next year's celebration. So I'm still, my humble request to council, please consider at least for an exception.
And again, my counsel would be, in response to that, is that legally, you can't do that.
I would have to say, I would like to speak, that there's no disrespect to you, Mr. Desai, or to anyone. You know I've come to many Indian festivals over the years and been to many of those flag raisings. Times have changed, and here's how the times change. And the mayor couldn't be here tonight, but, she has mentioned it to me, that she is inundated with calls from many, many different people to raise a flag, not just from India, from everybody. So if you can imagine every week or every day, and someone else is coming forward, I want my flag raised. We're not saying you can't have your ceremonies, you can't raise your flag, but it just can't be on public property anymore, because she's inundated with it. And some you wouldn't want to have the flag up there, because and so some she can't say yes, she can't say no. So this is just to keep everything copacetic and peaceful, and that's why this ordinance is being considered.
Can I just, I'm sorry, can I just clarify just something that you said, Councilwoman? Just because that's why I was asking the question, and according to what Mr. Rosselli said, it's simply the flagpoles that are involved, not a general public property scope, or maybe,
I mean,
that's what I'm reading.
no. So again,
It's the 3 flagpoles, but not public property in general.
right, I mean,
Okay,
again,
all right.
there's other laws that deal with those and the free, free expression and First Amendment. So, to the extent, we've had people on public property before, they came out, where if they want to hold their flag, whatever nation, they can hold their flag, right? You can't desecrate any public property, you can't mess it up while you're doing it, because, there's other concerns, but, a flag's a sign, it's an expression, so some of those rights are guaranteed, including on public property. Again, and generally, but, obviously, there's sometimes restrictions have to be placed so that people don't go out of control and they don't damage public property.
Just want to say the last word. It is a tradition, not only in Old Bridge or state of New Jersey, but all over the USA. Hundreds of places, town, and even at the state level and county level. India's Independence Day flag raising ceremony is being celebrated. We will be the first town to say no. Now, you said any pole, municipal property, we cannot do it. So basically, we may have to go to other town to raise flag, and citizen of Old Bridge of Indian descent has to travel those places for the celebration of their mother country. I think that's a disgrace, and I'm sure I'm going to vote no on this particular ordinance.
Just for the council's information, Sayreville has a similar ordinance that they adopted, I think, last year.
Any questions on the right? No? I'd like to open up to the public. If anyone has anything to say, please come forward.
You can speak now. This is 3 minutes just on this ordinance. Yes. We actually, and then during public comment, you can have another turn to speak.
Okay, so I came tonight because I wanted to support having a flag raising for the Pride flag for Pride Month. And I think that it's really important to show our residents that we support our Pride and our gay people. So I wanted to tell you guys a story, it's not long, about why I think it's so important. So about 3 years ago, I went out with my girlfriends. We went to a restaurant, and there was a band there, and it was 2 women. And it was kind of unusual to see 2 women in a band. And then one of my friends told me that they were actually married. They're actually a regional band. They travel all around to different places, but they're married and they have a family. And I thought, oh, that's nice, And they were really good, and we danced, and we had a really good time. And then about 2 years later, I didn't think much of it. About 2 years later, we were at a different place, I think Jack on the Tracks down in Belmar, and this same band was there. But when I looked at them, they looked different, and I noticed that one of the band members was a male. So I said to one of my friends, is this the same band? Did they get a new person? And she said, no, actually, one of the band members transitioned from a woman to a man, and she also shared that journey on Instagram. And this friend of mine said she actually, went and looked at it, and it was very interesting how she made her decisions and how she all came about. So they were playing, and they were very, very happy and joyful. They smiled at each other, and they were just spreading joy. There was so many people there. Everybody was dancing. It was such a great night. And I just got so happy. And I was like, hey, why am I so happy? I mean, I'm not gay, I'm not trans, I don't have kids that are, and then it hit me. It's because that was freedom. They represented freedom. This person was able to be their authentic self. They were able to show the world how they feel inside. They were able to show that outside. They were also able to marry the person they loved. They were able to raise a family, and they were able to make a living doing what they loved. And I thought that is freedom. So I was just thinking, if we raised the Pride flag, we would show people that Old Bridge believes in freedom. Because if you don't have freedom to be yourself, you don't have freedom. And that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Just state your name.
I don't state my name?
Just state your name.
Oh, Nina. Kate, by the way, congratulations on your reappointment. By the way, are you going to prosecute the person who destroyed my public property when we had our Pride celebration, the flags? Are you interested in doing that, sir? Oh, well, I know, but okay. Okay, council, as you know, I've been avoiding meetings because I don't really feel the council really gives a crap about what the community cares about. But I came here today because you're trying to limit flags. Flags are positive symbols of love, community, and diversity. Yes, some flags, negative flags exist, but I'm talking about flags like the Irish, Italian, Puerto Rican, Israeli, Indian, Polish, breast cancer awareness, and of course the LGBTQ flags, so many of them that I'm not even listing tonight. These each represent our identities, our commitments to diversity right here in our town, and all are positive and should be celebrated. Last week, the president removed from federal holidays which in months that embrace diversity, celebrate greatness in the leaders in our country, communities which made our country great, and even one that recognized the success against the pure evil of Hitler. He removed that one. Can you imagine? He removed that. Today, it's flags. Tomorrow, it could be Hanukkah candles and Christmas lights or Santa on the fire truck. Who in this town doesn't like that tradition? The council is at risk of losing traditions and celebrations that bring us together, including what Kieran Desai just spoke about, 30 years of flag raising in this town. Limiting flags undermines American values, life, liberty, and happiness. Do you really want to vote against these principles? Happy Valentine's Day, and remember that any decision that restricts symbols important to one group may later face legal challenges on another one. Are you going to enjoy having a challenge against a Christmas tree, or Santa on the fire truck, or just a menorah lighting? All of these then can be challenged. They're on our public property. So why don't we celebrate diversity instead of restricting it? Happy President's Day, happy holiday, happy Valentine's Day, happy Day of Hope on the 13th. And again, Catherine, congratulations. Thank you.
Anyone else from the public?
Just state your name.
Good evening. My name is Catherine, and I am a lifelong resident of Old Bridge. My grandparents settled here after World War II in Lawrence Harbor. My mother was raised here. I was raised here. I grew up in Madison Park. I remember distinctly when the first Indian family moved in to a very white area and how crazy it was. What an idea. How could they be invading our town? We're a white town. I see tonight with all of you that you do not represent the people of Old Bridge. If you think you do, then I'll make it my mission to make sure that there is a diverse and included group that run against you this year. Because all I see is white faces and probably, we just want our stuff. That's it. We don't want to include the Indian population, the Asian population, the gay population. Who are you? Who are you representing? And do you care? Do you care about the town? I haven't heard one of you say anything about caring about what's happening in this town. We are not what we used to be. I don't know if you're trying to make it that way by whitewashing it. But I don't agree with this. I think it's a beautiful thing that we're diverse. It's a beautiful thing that we celebrate cultures. Don't you?
Okay. Okay, I'd like to have a motion. Close the public, please. Actually, I would like to say something after my council members said something. I think it is totally outrageous when people make assumptions and accusations when you don't know any of us personally, you don't know our families, you don't know what we do in our daily lives and works, our workplaces, and to say some of the things, I would never say those things. I accept everybody. My family is very diverse in many different ways than you could ever imagine. And to say that because we're white, That's just ridiculous. And I never looked at as anything for whitewashing because I look at the American flag, and you know what that does? That embraces us all. It doesn't matter what color you are, what religion, what nationality, what your sexual preference is, which in particularly, I really don't care. You know how I look at a person? From your heart and your kindness. And that's what I prefer to look at someone for, and not what I heard when people are saying mean things that are not true. That is unacceptable. This is done for a reason, and the reason is, and you go other places, and as I said, we are very accepting. I go to different events all the time and embrace everybody. There is a reasoning for this, and I think the American flag says it all. It embraces us all, and it's a beautiful flag that we can stand by 365 days a year, every year, after every year. And that's what I choose to do.
Make a comment? I'd like to make a comment as well. Just for the record, I am white and I am Puerto Rican. So don't judge me on my race. I am Puerto Rican. Shame on you.
May I please have a motion and a second?
By Councilman Astatuli.
Second.
Second by Councilman Pasquini. Roll call. Councilman Astatuli.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeCaro.
No.
Councilman De Palma.
As it pertains to the three flagpoles, yes.
Councilman Desai.
No, I promise this council that this year in 2025, we'll have a larger celebration of India's Independence Day. Maybe not on township property, which is not township property. It's a public property maintained by our own tax dollar. Is it Asian or Caucasian? But it is public property. So I assure you, we'll have a big celebration in this town that people will remember what community can do if they get together. Thank you. I vote no on this.
Councilman Garcia.
Yes.
Councilman Murphy.
I agree with the 3 flagpoles.
Councilman Pasquini.
Yes.
Council Vice President Dr. Greenberg Belli.
Yes.
Councilman Murphy, you did. vote
Yes.
Yes, correct?
Just for the record, so it's clear,
6
thanks.
yeses, 2 nos.
Okay, moving on. Ordinance for first reading. Ordinance adopting the Crossroads redevelopment plan amendment dated February 10, 2025, specifically Block 2121000, lots 6.11, 6.12, and 13.12. I need a motion, a second.
Second.
Moved by Councilman De Palma, second by Councilman Asatuli. Roll call. Councilman Asatuli.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeCaro.
Yes.
Councilman De Palma.
Yes.
Councilman Desai.
Abstain.
Abstain. Councilman Garcia.
Yes.
Councilman Murphy. Yes. Councilman Pasquini.
Yes.
Council Vice President Dr. Greenberg Belli.
Yes.
8 yeses. Public hearing set for March 11th, 2025.
Now we'll go to the consent agenda. I ask for a motion and a second, then we'll bring it back for items of separation.
Move it.
Moved by Councilman Pasquini, second by Councilman Asatuli. Councilman Asatuli, any items removed for separation?
C8.
C8. Councilwoman DeCaro, any items for separation?
C6.
C6. Councilman De Palma.
C5.
C5. Councilman Desai.
No.
Councilman Garcia.
I have none, thank you.
Councilman Murphy.
I don't have any objections. I just want to make a comment on C8. I think that's great. I think it's $750,000 grant. That's it.
So no separation, correct? Councilman Pasquini.
No separations, thank you.
Council Vice President Dr. Greenberg Belli.
I was going to separate 6-5, but Mr. De Palma already did, so I'll comment on later.
So we need a Vote on the balance of the consent agenda with the removal of C5, C6, and C8. Roll call, Councilman Asatuli?
Yes.
Councilwoman DeCaro?
Yes.
Councilman DePalma?
Yes.
Councilman Desai?
Yes.
Councilman Garcia?
Yes.
Councilman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilman Pasquini?
Yes.
Council Vice President Dr. Greenberg Belli?
Yes.
8 yeses.
Okay, C5, Mr. De Palma, and then I'll add in.
Please,
No,
ladies
no, you
first.
go
Ladies
first.
first, please.
That's okay. Now, first of all, I'm just asking, if you have it in your heart, please visit our shelter and adopt a pet. There are so many loving animals that really deserve a loving home. And so what we're trying to do is clear the shelter. And for those who are not aware, there are special days throughout the year where pet adoption fees are waived for the one-day period, and those are Old Bridge Day, Holiday Adoption Day, which is usually between Thanksgiving and New Year's Day. And this Have a Heart campaign is from February to March. And then we have summer adoption between May and September, where the reduced adoptions fees for the month. Then February 14th through March 15th, pet adoption fees will be waived for cats and the reduced fee for $25 for dogs. So please visit, and I know if you do visit and see those loving animals, you will surely take one home. Thank you.
I just wanted to separate it to make sure that we highlighted that what we were doing here, and to thank the Old Bridge Police Department, the Animal Shelter, and the administration for putting this together.
Thank you, Mr. Obama.
Can we have a motion?
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Councilman DePalma, second by Council Vice President Dr. Greenberg Belli. Roll call, Councilman Asatuli?
Yes.
Councilwoman DeCaro?
Absolutely, yes.
Councilman DePalma?
Yes.
Councilman Desai?
Yes.
Councilman Garcia?
Yes.
Councilman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilman Pasquini?
Yes.
Council Vice President Dr. Greenberg Belli?
Yes.
8 yeses.
Then we had
C6.
C6. C6, please.
So I was just wondering if Mr. Roselli can just explain to the public what's going on here.
Venus, want to come up? I'm sorry, Venus Swan will.
Perfect.
Thank you. For the public, Township Planner, Venus Swan.
Yes, these are two parcels that have frontage on County Road 516 and J. Brown Road. They have remained vacant for a significant amount of time. There have been various proposals in the past, but never have come to fruition. So I think it's the right time to evaluate it. When we did the Segme project, the redeveloper had committed to constructing Jake Brown Road and connecting it to White Oak Lane. I think with the area investigation and the designation, it will help us build that roadway connection as well.
Is this property opposite where the Y is? Is that on that side?
No, it's to the, I'm trying to orient myself, west of the Y.
Okay. Okay, gotcha. All right, thank you.
I have a motion and a second, please, for C6.
I'll move it.
Second.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman DeCaro, second by Councilman DePalma. Roll call, Councilman Asatuli?
Yes.
Councilwoman DeCaro?
Yes.
Councilman DePalma?
Yes.
Councilman Desai?
Yes.
Councilman Garcia?
Yes.
Councilman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilman Pasquini?
Yes.
Council Vice President Dr. Greenberg Belli?
Yes.
8 yeses. And then C8.
And now C8. Okay.
Just have a quick question. This grant, is that for the special needs park at Geik?
Yes, it's for the inclusive playground.
That is so cool. So it's going to move forward. Is that what we're saying?
Yep.
That's really exciting.
Correct. Our Parks and Rec Director, Matt Mercurio, will actually be meeting in the coming weeks with SEPTA to get some of their feedback as well, because we want to make sure that the playground is inclusive in every way as much as it can be. So we're going to get their feedback as well. So it really will be a community effort.
That is so exciting. I know that we have, if I'm not mistaken, probably 20% special needs here in Old Bridge, right? And this is just, I'm just excited to see it come to fruition. This is fantastic. So thanks for clarifying.
No problem.
Yeah.
Like a motion and a second.
Second?
Motion by Councilman Astatuli, second by Councilman Pasquitti. Roll call, Councilman Astatuli?
Yes.
Councilwoman DeCaro?
Yes.
Councilman DePalma?
Yes.
Councilman Desai?
Yes.
Councilman Garcia?
Yes.
Councilman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilman Pasquitti?
Yes.
Council Vice President Dr. Greenberg Belli?
Yes.
8 yeses.
Now we'll move on to report of the Township Clerk.
I have no report, Council Vice President.
Report of the Township Attorney
No report, Madam Vice President.
and an administrative report.
Thank you. Just a short report for you all this evening. Number one, Parks and Recreation Spring Brochure. The Parks and Recreation Spring Brochure is now available on our website. Resident registration for all programs in pickleball started yesterday on February 10th at 6 p.m. Non-resident registration will start on February 17th at 6 p.m. For more information, please visit our website at oldbridge.com/recreation or call the Recreation Office at 732-721-5600, extension 4999. Retirement of Township employees. It is with heartfelt appreciation that we announce the retirement of 6 employees from the Township of Old Bridge. First, we would like to recognize Lieutenant Joseph Napoli of the Police Department, who served the Township for 39 years. Sergeant Robert Kerslowski, who also served the Police Department for 27 years. Police Officer Michael Johns, who was with the Police Department for 25 years. Police Officer Edward Raporti, who also served for 25 years. Russell Nielsen, a bus driver at our Silver Lining Center, who was there for 21 years. And Nancy Reich, who was our program coordinator, who also served at the Senior Center for 20 years. All of these employees have retired as of February 1st, 2025. Each of them brought dedication and passion to our organization. Their presence will be deeply missed, and we wish them happiness in their retirement.
Congratulations to the service that you provide.
And the only other thing I would like to mention is please be careful. It is already snowing out there. I also would like to send a quick thank you to our Public Works Department and our Parks crew who were out overnight, Saturday night into Sunday, dealing with that ice storm that we had. It may not seem like a lot, but it was quite a bit of a storm, even though it didn't have a lot of accumulation. They worked on the last holiday, Martin Luther King. They'll be working on tomorrow's holiday, it seems like. So we appreciate all of their efforts in keeping our town safe, making sure that everybody can get where they need to be safely. And thank you very much. And they'll be back at it tonight at midnight. So thank you, everyone.
Any questions for Administrator?
Yes, I have one question. What is the purpose of registering for pickleball? What does that mean?
So we run an outdoor pickleball program. So we actually have instructors who run pickleball classes right at our municipal courts here. So the rec department oversees that. So you can register so that you can actually take a class with an instructor. No. We mentioned pickleball specifically because a lot of people don't realize that we do have a township-run pickleball instructional program.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
First, motion.
Move it. Second.
Moved by Councilman DePalma, seconded by Councilman Pasquitti. Roll call, Councilman Astatuli?
Yes.
Councilwoman DeCaro?
Yes.
Councilman DePalma?
Yes.
Councilman Desai?
Yes.
Councilman Garcia?
Yes.
Councilman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilman Pasquitti?
Yes.
Council Vice President Dr. Greenberg Belli?
Yes.
8 yeses.
Okay, I would like to open up public comments on any subject matter for a maximum period of 3 minutes. Would anyone like to come forward and speak?
The public comment portion of our meeting is to allow the public to bring to the council's attention their concerns or comments. This section is open for any topic or items in the consent agenda. In accordance with NJSA 10:4-12A and the Old Bridge Rules of Council, the council asks the public to limit their comments to 3 minutes or less. Only one member of the public shall approach to speak to council at a time. The council will respect the public's time by refraining from any comment until the speaker is finished with their allotted time. Should be further noted that that the public comment portion of our meeting is not structured as a question and answer session. If a member of the public has questions they seek answers to, an appointment can be made with the corresponding department's office during regular business hours. Township clerk will regulate the time during the comment portion of your meeting. As you approach the microphone, please state your name.
Nina, thank you, Public Works. You guys are great. Animal shelter is also great, and I hope people take up the opportunity to adopt. Tomorrow, by the way, before you adopt, or even if you already adopt, you can also go to East Brunswick because they're offering a free rabies clinic in the township from 3 to 8 p.m. at the Civic Center. And you can get your animal a free rabies vaccine. And then you can come right over to Kate later and register your dog or cat to be in this town. It's a $15, I think, right? Is it $15 fee?
10
and 15, 15 on spades.
10 and 13.
Oh, sorry, I apologize. Thank you. Thank you for correcting me. I do want to say, I do find it interesting that some council members do find it that they're personally attacked when individuals come up, like myself or Catherine before, or other people, and feel as though that when we speak, that we're actually trying to attack you. Now, we may not like what you say or how you act or what you do, but that isn't a personal thing, because believe me, I know a lot more about each and every one of you that I want to know. That said, you did mention, Anita, that about the flag, and yet one of your council members had the flag upside down for quite a long time, the American flag upside down for quite a long time. Mr. Piscatty, in his property, proudly displayed on his fence. It was disgusting to me. It was disgusting to a lot of people in the neighborhood. And yet it went on and on and on. And you talk about the 3 flagpoles and how it's really important, and it's the American flag, the New Jersey flag, and the POW flag, and all that is really great and groovy. But you didn't do anything about Councilman from Ward 5, who honestly had a disgusting display of his flag, which he's proudly smiling about right now. Look at him, he's waving. It's really sad. It's disgusting. I think that anybody on this dais who does that is offending all the citizens and residents of Old Bridge. Thank you. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy President's Day. And let's all have hope, peace, and prosperity. Thank you, Mr. Desai, again, for speaking on the Indian Americans here in town. We'll be at 31. We'll be at that celebration no matter what.
I just want to clarify something. They are attacking someone. They attacked Tony Busby. Okay, great. Okay. Anyone else from the public would like to come up and speak? Closing public portion, I would like to have council members, starting.
Councilman S. Tooley.
Yes. So first, I want to congratulate the Philadelphia Eagles for winning the Super Bowl. I mean, they're the closest thing to New Jersey. I'm just saying. I'm a Jets fan, but it is what it is. I'm just saying. I had to put it out there. And I figured one day, if I ever run for president, my first executive order. Now, I know you'd all appreciate it, and I'll guarantee you'd say, this is my first thing I want to do. I want to make the day after the Super Bowl a national holiday. What's up? Anybody? I know everybody on this day. Tony, everybody would agree. They're all smiling, absolutely. So I figured I would just break the ice. But that being said, it is getting dangerous. Last week, Anita mentioned something about social media. Now, I'm on social media a lot, and I see things. Let me read something to you. This was an anonymous post, and it can get really dangerous for all of us up here. We don't know who said it, but I want to share it with you. Hey, Old Bridge, they want you to build another 529 apartments off Madawan Road in Old Bridge. We all need to fight this. Our schools are overcrowded, and our roads are disgusting. This town is going to crap. We all need to take a stand, complain to the mayor, the council, and the builders. None of them care about us. We have a horrible council who does nothing to protect this town. We need to fight back. This is misinformation. It's fake news. Aren't we tired of fake news and misinformation? All of us? It can get people hurt. And I'm including everybody on this dais. Because we're making accusations that we did something that was untrue. So, as a councilman, I'll speak for myself, I went on that post because everybody was like, yeah, we got to get him. I'm like, okay. I'm your current councilman of Ward 2. Aren't we tired of misinformation and anonymous posts? I would be happy to meet with you for coffee and tell you the truth about what's happening in town. I put my contact info, my cell phone, and I said, everybody in Old Bridge deserves the truth. It's who we work for. It's for Old Bridge, all of you. Make no mistake, it's our number one priority, always. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. And that was a few days ago. Nobody's called me or emailed me. But I promise you something, and this is for everybody here. We're here. Call me. Email us. I'll meet you for coffee. And we can tell you exactly what's happening because we serve the people. It is our job. You shouldn't have to worry about government. You should know that we're here to make sure we're fiscally responsible. We take your money and spend it appropriately. Public safety is really important so you can enjoy your life. So anytime anybody has a question, please go on the post, go on the website for everybody watching at home. I don't think anybody here would not want to talk to you. So I'm opening up the conversation. If you want to talk to us, give us a call, email us. I'd be happy to meet you, sit down, and have a real conversation because it's my job to serve you. And that's the most important thing for all of us. And I truly mean that. Thank you.
Councilwoman DeCaro.
Yes, thank you. First, I'd like to congratulate the township employees on their retirement, and I wish them well in the next chapter of their lives. My husband just recently retired, and he is the happiest man on the face of the planet. So I just really need to find him more hobbies. And he's watching now, so anyway. I also want to thank the people that did speak tonight. Just understand that your voices are heard. I hear you. And, we might not all always agree, but I think it's important that we listen to people. And sometimes people are frustrated. And when they say things, there's frustration in their voices. And as elected officials, I think it's important for us to understand that frustration and react accordingly. And, so you guys, anybody that speaks, your voices are important. Thank you.
Councilman De Palma.
Thank you, Kate. Kate, congratulations.
Thank you.
Just a couple quick things. Recently, in a couple of places around town, there have been attempted break-ins. There have been, people getting into cars using the garage door openers to get in. Please, everyone, make sure you lock your cars at night. Keep your key fobs away from your garage doors. Something happened last night. I won't get into any details, not far from where I am. Please make sure that if you see something, if you see strange cars driving around, call the police. They will show up. They will investigate, right? Obviously there are a lot of things that are going on behind the scenes with Chief Montagna and the rest of the officers to ensure that we are patrolling more, either in marked cars or unmarked cars. But if you do see something, you're the ones that are in that neighborhood, on that street, on a regular basis. You know what cars should and should not be there. If you see a car with a weird plate, cars that are excessively tinted, that aren't normally there, make sure you call the police and they will come out and investigate. It's the only way that we can stop this and drive these folks out of town. This is happening in Sayreville, it's happening in East Brunswick, it's happening all over. So it looks like they're trying to come back into town. Make sure that if you do see something, say something, right? Because it may not be your house today, but it may be it tomorrow. So please make sure that we are calling in anything that we seem is very suspicious, because it's the only way that we can ensure that we get them before they get into a house and get folks' cars or other property from their home. Also, just everyone just be careful tonight and this week with the storm tonight and another storm tomorrow. And thank you to Public Works, Parks, and all our snow contractors for clearing the roads. Talking to Casey earlier, I know he's having a headache with all the salt he's dropping down, but between the snow and then turning into ice, I know there have been questions as to why are we salting. If that snow gets packed down, that will turn into hard ice, and that's an even worse situation for the drivers than snow. Then everyone, happy Valentine's Day, especially to my 3 Valentines, my wife, and my 2 girls. Thank you.
Councilman Desai.
My first happy retirement to all those retired officials from the Township of Old Bridge after giving their long services and dedicated services and time to citizen of Old Bridge. So to all of them, enjoy the life. There is always a life after the work. And I realized I myself just retired this year. So, second thing, happy Valentine's Day to all of the people of Old Bridge. And the last thing, enjoy the President Day holiday. As Councilman said, tonight and tomorrow is a snow, so please drive carefully and do not go out if you don't have to. Everybody enjoy the evening and reach home safely before snow arrives. Thank you.
Councilman Garcia.
Yes, thank you. I just want to comment on what Councilman Nastuli said earlier regarding the apartments in Ward 1. I personally don't want the apartments, and I know everybody on this council does not want apartments in Old Bridge. Unfortunately, we're stuck with apartments because of the state. So just so you know, I'm putting it on record, I do not want apartments. I don't think anybody here wants apartments. It's mandated by the state. So as far as these comments on Facebook, if you need to know facts, like Councilman Nastuli said, come see us. We'll give you the facts. We're not going to lie to you. So that's enough of that. I also want to congratulate Kate as well for staying with us for another year or 2 or 3. I'm not sure how many years it is.
Long time.
Well, stay with us for a long. Very good. And happy Valentine's Day. Make sure you take your significant other out Friday, if not Friday, Saturday. And be safe getting home tonight. So thank you. That's all.
Councilman Murphy.
Yes, thank you. First of all, I want to wish all the retirees that retired, tomorrow will be the best day of their lives. It just hits you the next day. Drive snow. I'm sure Casey's had the trucks out probably since this afternoon, and he probably won't go home till like Friday. So I appreciate all the things you've done for all of us. And just have a happy Valentine's Day, and that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Councilman Pasquini.
Yes, thank you. I'll go on the record, too. I particularly don't like apartments. You know, that property was turned down through our zoning. It got turned down, and he sued, the builder sued the town. And the judge, which he's a judge that leans left, he felt that the builder should be able to build. So, we tried as a town to stop it, but you can only do so much. When individuals own property and they sell their private property to builders, the builders can build based on what the area is zoned for. So, there's an awful lot of building going on, and it's unfortunate. But the state, like Councilman said, mandates us to build, to allow building. They just look at an aerial view of Old Bridge, and they say, look at all that, empty space you have plenty of room to build. So you can build 600 units. And it's crazy because to build 600 affordable units, you have to build 3,000 units. So it's really out of control. There's things going on in the legislature. They're trying to change the law, but we're stuck. What I'd really like to see is us to be able to preserve farmland, because the farmland's out there, and we can zone it as farmland. It will prevent building, possibly. On the note of the upside-down flag that I fly at my house is in no means disrespect to the country or the flag. The reason why I'm flying that flag upside down is because our government in the last 4 years has been out of control. They've thrown people in jail that have been in jail.
So disrespectful, it's a shame. You make me sick.
Thank you. Don't let the door hit you. It means distress. That's what it means. That flag in front of my house is always lit up because I absolutely respect this country. I love this country. It's just been run really bad in the past. Hopefully, we'll be on a better track now. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Council Vice President, Dr. Greenberg Belli.
Yes. First of all, I believe in freedom of speech, and I think everyone up here does believe in freedom of speech. So I just want to say that if you want to fly a flag of any type, you can fly it on your house. You can paint yourself in the color of the flag. So freedom to you. So I also find that if you look for bad, you're going to find bad. If you look for good, you're going to find good. I choose good. Beyond that, I just want to say congratulations to our clerk, very well deserved and earned. And I'm very excited for those that are retiring, and thank you for your service for all these years and dedication to Old Bridge, to making it a better town and moving forward. And I want to wish everyone a happy Valentine's Day. Spread the love. Thank you. Now,
Can we have we need a motion to adjourn and enter executive session for litigation matters for Knapp Brothers and potential litigation for Summers property?
Move it. Move it.
Motion by Councilman Asatuli, second by Councilman Pasquitti. Roll call, Councilman Asatuli?
Yes.
Councilwoman DeCaro?
Yes.
Councilman DePalma? Councilman Desai?
Yes.
Councilman Garcia?
Yes.
Councilman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilman Pasquitti?
Yes.
Council Vice President, Dr. Greenberg Belli?
yes, I'd like to say we will not be coming, needing to come back in public portion.
So we adjourned at.
Thanks, buddy.
Does that
Thanks,
say
Casey.
8:53? 8:53.
53, adjourned.